And the idea today is to talk a little bit about the way we do coaching, because we studied the same method and we've got so much in common, and still sometimes a struggle to explain to people the way we do it.
Mhm.
So I wanted to hear from you. How do you explain to different people what is coaching and who is it for?
Well, when I explain about coaching, I usually try to make a distinction between mentoring and therapy, because a lot of people have never done any coaching and then don't know much about coaching. So what I tell them is that it is a process of transformation. So you look for a coach when you're trying to change something in your life. So it could be like developing a new skill or overcoming an obstacle or trying to improve in some area. But the big difference about the coaching is that the client has to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about the coach providing answers or giving some consultancy. So this is where it differs from mentoring and consulting. And also, it's not a therapy process. So we don't go deep into the past. We don't go deep into, I don't know, more like root stuff. We talk about the present, and it's
And the
all
future,
about
right?
and the
Yeah.
future and about like
Yeah.
making a sustainable change. So this is the idea. What
Yeah.
would you add to that?
No, I think I agree with you. It's always easier when the person has done it before, or
Mhm.
at least has some experience with coaching, but when they people tend to make a lot of confusions when they had no previous experience. And but I think for me what is key is for the person to be really engaged. When
Mhm.
the person is not so sure about it, then I'd even rather avoid it, because it requires so much work and so much dedication. You really need to
Mhm.
be willing to change in that area of your life, right?
I
So
agree.
I guess that for me is what really the person really needs to be have this drive. But then when for the people who do know coaching, I try to focus on the way we do it. I think every coach will do it slightly different ways, but
Mhm.
I think we have a lot in common. So how do you explain our integral coaching for people?
Yeah, this is always a challenge because the method is so complex, but like there's no use in explaining all the complexity to the client. So I do it like this. I explain that there are two pillars to the method. So there's a self-development aspect and a self-awareness aspect. So we, at one side, we help the client see themselves from the outside. So this is the self-awareness aspect. We help them really like look into their blind spots, their ways of seeing the world, their ways of like their criteria, their ways of acting. So there's like a really deep component about self-awareness, because
Mm-hmm.
this is essential to change. If you don't see yourself, you're not able to make a change. And also there's the self-development. So we also help the clients develop some skills to help them achieve what they want or get to whatever they want to do. So we work on these two aspects in parallel, helping them
Mm-hmm.
gain awareness and then develop and gain awareness, and then it is like a process of embodying these new skills and these new ways of seeing. I know that like this just sounded more complex than I wanted, but this is like
So
the
I think it was
simple.
quite clear. I think it was quite clear. It is always. I mean, it's good that it's complex, and I think people can understand because you're based in two pillars. I think the only things I would add that are very specific, or that are very characteristic of the way we do it, is that it's
Mhm.
also super personalized. Like
Yeah.
no two clients are ever like the program, the topics, it all changes from client to client in a very deep level on everything you're going to work on and how. And yeah, and I guess the practices as well. So we work a lot with practices because it has to be sustainable for us to feel it's succeeded, right?
Yeah, I really like the personalized aspect is really important, because I see a lot of methods of coaching that they follow a step by step. So every new client has like this practice and then another, and it's really like uniform. And there's space for everyone, and I think those methods are useful to some people at some points. But I think if you really want to go deep and have like a big impact in a short amount of time, it's really important to do something for that person with those skills, with that personality. So this is where the complexity lies in our method. Like there's a lot of work we do backstage in analyzing the client and coming up with like the exact practice that we think will really help them. And so it's a really important aspect.
Definitely. And for people who are considering it but are not sure, what do you recommend usually?
I think we both have the same process, which is like schedule a conversation, because this is the best way that we can hear what's happening with the client and what they want, what they're looking for, and then we can be totally honest if it's something that coaching will help with. Or sometimes this happens a lot. Sometimes a person comes up to me and I say, okay, I think you could do some really quick mentoring or consultancy and you'll be fine. Like you don't need coaching. It's not for now. So just talk to us. I think it's the best way.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think it's there is this chemistry that has to happen between the coach and the coachee. So the only way to figure out if it's gonna work, because the person also needs to feel very open, very comfortable speaking to you. And in that chemistry chat, you can already feel if that will work or not. And also like regarding the topic, if how possible is it to develop in our method or in general. So for me, it's the same. In that conversation, sometimes I will redirect either to a course or to another specialist. So that the person really gets the best. And sometimes it's years later, right? That they will come back to us because they're ready for it. You need to be ready for it.
You need to be ready for it. And also like there's this huge aspect about trust and intimacy, because the client is opening up their lives and they're opening themselves up. So they need to feel this trust. And this is something we feel when we talk to a person or not, right?
Even online, right?
Yeah. So I agree.
Wonderful. So thank you so much. Maybe we can schedule another one. It was really nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. I really like the way you we always look into different aspects of this thing. So I really like the way you complement things and talk about stuff that I don't usually talk about, and that is really important and useful. So thank you.
For me, I just feel my brain works better when I'm talking to someone. So it's really a pleasure.
It's really nice
having this conversation. Really nice.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.